So, whilst we shouldn't seek to turn the tide of technology, clearly it's even more important than ever to ensure health, fitness and sporting activities is an attractive and compelling proposition to young people. They do, after all, have other really, really attractive diversions. Let's just consider sport for a moment. How attractive and compelling is it to young people? What are young people saying about sport? You'll hear later from Mike Diper from Sport England about a programme called Sport Unlimited, a project I initiated for what was DCMS some 2 to 3 years ago, that targets semi-sporty young people who would like to do more sport, but for one reason or another simply hadn't gotten into it in a structured, regular sort of way. The key to the project was to ask targeted young people about what they'd like to play, what sort of setting and time would work best for them. It was tough to put skiing on in Burnley, but I think somehow we got there. They were really keen to give their views. In Buckinghamshire County Sports Partnership, we did some Big Brother style interviews, and 3 people stand out that we spoke to. We kind of popped them into a box in front of a TV screen and asked them questions. The first was a young lady, and I asked her, what was the #1 barrier to you about playing sport? She says, do you know what, I've just started a relationship and I haven't got time for this. So I said, I'm really sorry. Off you go, young lady. We'll talk to you another time when you have got time for us. And then the first boy stood up and said, do you know what, I don't think I'm going to get through the trials. And then the last boy stood up, who stood in my mind anyway, and said, I'm not good enough for the trials. So we need to think really carefully how we package sport and physical activity to young people. Would-be sporty kids will be put off by the fact that they will think of sport as being done by peers who are good at it, have the right kit, etc. They'll often think it's too late to learn when they're 14 or 15. It's no wonder that when asked about barriers to playing sport, the #1 barrier they say is they haven't got time. But I would argue that kids have time, plenty of it. It's simply that sport isn't anywhere near the top of their priority list, and it's a huge challenge for us all. So my thought is, from the sport perspective, is we must make it more attractive and more compelling for young people. They have other options, and they don't always have great perceptions about the word sport. When I was trying to get Sport Unlimited off the ground with DCMS, ministers who I won't name talked to me about why can't they play rugby? I said, oh, Andy, it doesn't work like that, but I won't give away who I was talking to. Racing through the rest of my thoughts, we need to do everything we can to encourage family-orientated activity. What evidence I have comes from MEND. When I talk with young people and their parents who have been through our programmes, they typically say, you've given us our family back. We now eat and play regularly together. We meet other families every week to play in the park. We've been doing some work at MEND with the New Economics Foundation to put a value, an actual pounds cost, on what it's worth to the state to help create better family units. We're releasing the figures next week, so I can't give you an exclusive today, but trust me, sport and physical activity can play a huge role in creating fitter, healthier, happier family units, and it's really valuable to the state in terms of cohesive and fitter society, and it's worth millions of pounds per year. Encouraging, nudging family-orientated physical activity is critical, and this action will surely be part of David Cameron's Big Society vision, where action is aligned with families taking greater responsibility. Looking at the most recent 2008 Ofsted report, and I must get out more, into PE, school sport and the National 5-Hour Strategy, just a quick thought on this one. Only a fifth of schools, it states in the survey, were making good links between physical education, science and PSHE programmes to reinforce messages about an understanding of being healthy. A quick plea, therefore, for a more joined-up approach, or what the Marmot Review team calls developing the school-based workforce to address the social, emotional development, physical and mental health and well-being of young people. So enough of those boring slides, let's just go off to New York. Central Park's a playground for New York. It's buzzing, and it's set up to inspire sport and physical activity. Let's have a look. Never quite sure what's going on here, but it just seems so colourful. Virtually every sport and physical activity you can think of. Okay, my family in Rio, I've got a new family there now. So what's going on in Rio? The beach is very much a sports or physical activity playground. Notice in one of the shots you'll see floodlights extending the uses of time well into the evening. In Rio you will see activity in and on the water. Absolutely loads of volleyball. This kind of hybrid between soccer and volleyball, unbelievable skills on the beach. And a range of activities just too varied to mention. a children's nursery, Carnival Day. And on Sundays, the motorway that runs along the beach is closed for it to become one giant playground for everybody. There's a cycle path linking Copacabana to Ipanema to Leblon. In Rio, they really know how to play. I know you can find really good examples of brilliant parks and beaches in this country, but are we really doing the most we can to make the most of these assets? And finally, what about the new Parliament? How knowledgeable are they? Do they know there's a crisis? Earlier this year, the Fitness Association carried out a survey of 275 prospective parliamentary candidates. The responses revealed that they didn't know. Nearly 65% of PPCs underestimated the predicted cost of obesity. So don't ever underestimate the need to lobby and inform. It could be vital, and we all have a role to play here. So, these are my thoughts so far. I could have talked about other things, the food industry, but I think Tam may speak about that in a moment. I could have talked about the merits of industrial scale provision, thinking here particularly the 5-hour sports offer and how MEND operates. But maybe, just maybe, these and other things will come out as the day progresses. But whatever the answer, one last thought from Sir Michael Marmot. If no action is taken, the cost of treating the various illnesses that result from inequalities in the level of obesity alone will rise from 2 billion per year to nearly 5 billion per year by 2025. Thanks for listening.